Hi, I'm Valerie Engelhart, and in this video I am doing a subscriber request for a magnolia blossom. We have a tree nearby in one of the neighbors' lawns, and even though it is winter right now, I do know that it is going to be blooming very soon, so it is a roundabout way of saying I am working from a reference image, but I have seen these blossoms in person, and gosh, they are so beautiful. So I totally understand why someone had a request for this. I am painting on 1264 Fabriano. It's like a student grade paper, inexpensive, and it's perfect for doing quick studies where you just want to do something new really quickly without the stress of using expensive paper. I'm using Rockwell Art Charm Set. I don't know which set, but it is the set that has colors such as I will be using Peach Fairy for the pink, Landmark for the brown, Fall Story for the green, and I will be pulling out some Blue Enchantress for the blue. So if you want to follow along but you don't have these exact colors, just grab a pink, a green, a brown, and a blue. And as usual, I'm using my size 8 round brush by Silver Black Velvet. And one thing nice about this paper is it lifts really well. So I am putting in some of that pink because the base of the magnolia petal is pink. And to separate the petals, I'm using that lifting technique to lift off some of that paint to create a soft transition because petals are really soft and silky, and I want to translate how something feels with the way I paint it. So very delicate petals, but now I'm painting in the branch, and that branch has a very rough and bumpy appearance, and so I am trying to translate that with my brush strokes using jagged marks and varying amounts of pressure to create this organic shape. Right now, while everything is wet, I am just popping in my green, and that is just the little greens that are on the buds. So this painting was done in roughly 15 minutes. I have sped this video up 150% so that it's slow enough that you can see what I'm doing and follow along, but fast enough that you don't get bored in between all of my brush strokes. Now I'm just going through, lifting a bit more. That is one thing I like about this paper, is I am able to lift and lighten areas as I paint. And this painting is basically done in one go. I might revisit areas as they dry, but there is no point where I leave and let things dry naturally or blow dry it. I do this in 15 minutes and then I call it quits. I am dropping in a darker value of the brown, and that's done by having more paint on my brush than water. So if you have a lot of water, you get a light value. A lot of paint, less water, you deepen your value. And now I'm going in with Blue Enchantress. A very similar color would be like a French Ultramarine, but really any blue will do. This is to represent the sky. And because a magnolia is white, or at least this one is white and pink, how do you paint white in watercolor? Well, it's the white of the paper, so you have to paint around your subject, and that's called negative painting. And I don't sketch typically before I paint, so I'm just using my imagination and looking at my reference image to be inspired on the shapes and orientations of these petals. And I don't know if you noticed, but I did pull some of that sky pigment into the blossom to separate one petal from the other, but I did so in such a light way because I didn't want that petal getting heavy with blue, because these magnolia petals are white and I want to show through my work that they are light and silky and smooth. Now, because my branch is going in that upwards diagonal, I painted the sky in a similar direction, upwards diagonal, and I'm not doing a flat wash. I'm not that kind of painter. I like a lot of texture in my work. I like things to look dreamy and almost ethereal. And I definitely paint loose. So because I've got the sky going on one side of my magnolia, I'm bringing it down to the lower part of the flower and around the branch area, because you would be able to see the sky through the branches, so I gotta bring that down. And even though I'm careful a little bit, like I am painting around the branch, there are some places where I kind of skip and allow the pigment to go through it, and that's fine because this is a painting, this is a study, and it does keep things from getting too stiff. Now, when painting white in watercolor and you are using the negative painting technique, putting a darker value against a lighter value will help that lighter value pop. So there are some strategic parts of that blossom where I went in with stronger blue so that that petal really pops off the page. And because a magnolia blossom is in a tree that has many blossoms, I'm just throwing in some of that pink into the wet wash of the background to merge with the blue to suggest that there are blossoms in the background that are out of focus. And I'm pretty sure in this reference image, I don't have it on me right now, but the one blossom is very clear in the foreground and then the other ones are out of focus, really hazy. And so I went with that just to create that composition. And also notice, I don't know if I mentioned around the flower itself, notice I didn't do a cutout. It's not the same all the way around, and some of those places where they meet are a nice hard edge, and some are soft and fade away. Soft and hard, lost and found. If you've been here a while, you know how I go. So I've pulled out more of the brown and very lightly just putting in the hint of branches in a few areas just to help create that story that this is an entire tree. But I did it lightly, I did it quickly. The one that's in focus, the one that matters, has the attention to texture and has the attention to values. Whereas the one off to the side, it's there to suggest something, it's there to help complete the story, but it's not the main course. At this point, I decided I wanted some greater value in the base of my magnolia, and so all I did was got a thicker mix of that peach fairy and went in just to deepen the value. Usually, if you are painting your subject, you want that area of your focal point to have the greatest contrast of values. So since the magnolia blossom is my subject, that subject is going to have the lightest value in my painting as well as the darkest, or roughly the darkest. So here's the finished painting. If you liked this video, press that like button so I know to make more like this. And if you want to see more, subscribe and ring-a-ling that bell because I make videos every Thursday. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.